Hello, this is Chris Kobe with the League of Women Voters of Portland. You're watching the Video Voters Guide. In conjunction with MetroEast Community Media, we are here to talk with candidates running in the May 2020 primary election. With me today is Walter Wesley, running for Portland City Commissioner, Position 2. Welcome, Walter, and please tell
Hey,
us a little bit about yourself, why you're running for the City Commissioner office, and what unique characteristics you have among the candidates for Position 2.
yeah, okay, cool. Thank you, Chris. I first decided to run because I heard about uh, I was reading about Nick Fish and I was liking some of the things he was doing, and then I heard he had cancer, and that kind of struck me kind of emotionally, and after reading about what things he was doing, I thought I'd get into the fray to do it. A lot for educational purposes, really, just to get more involved in the process as well too. So that's why I ran.
Okay, thank you for running, Walter, along with all the other candidates. The pandemic and the resulting devastation of small businesses, city employee layoffs, and the housing displacement will be with us, unfortunately, for some time. If you were elected to the City Commission, how would you seek to address this fallout, including the reduction in city revenue?
Well, it's such a changing situation, and it comes on so quick. I don't think anybody really knows what to do. We definitely need more emergency situations to deal with any kind of emergencies, and that's as far as what to do now with this. I mean, what Kate Brown is doing is awesome, and the isolation and hand washing and not touching your face seem to be some of the most important things you can do. Distancing is great, and we'll find out more about that as it unfolds. But I think right now I've heard doctors and ICU places say is to be very careful about your hands and your face, and that's why masks are so important. The Japanese and Korean are a mask-wearing culture, and they seem to have the virus into some kind of control, and we need to be the same way. We need to just all the time know where our hands are and not touch our face with our hands, and be careful what we touch, and plenty of hand washing seems to be the best advice that best thing we can do right now.
Okay, thank you, Walter. Turning to a more traditional issue for the city of Portland, if we maintain our current government structure, what city bureau would you want to oversee and why?
Well, Nick Fish's positions right now are the environmental services and the water bureau and the parks. And my main focus is really environmentalist. I've always been a staunch environmental supporter. I worked on the ban the Trojan, and I worked on the stopping Nestle's to put bottling plants in up in Bonneville. But the main thing is so I've always been an environmentalist, and I think everybody who's running is an environmentalist. However, I think parks need a restructuring of what they do. I'm a big believer in, well, lately have been, it's been very disheartening. The bee colonies across the nation and globally have been decreasing incredibly. And that's a big issue, because without the bees, we won't have basically any citrus products. We'll all get scurvy. The whole agricultural system would collapse without the honeybees. And so parks is important, because I think we need to cultivate wildflowers and meadows, and in support of bees. The environmental services is a good position for me, because I advocate the use of stopping 5G. 5G microwaves it's required that they have microwave emitters on every 100 meters in the city, and these microwaves can interfere with the calcium balance of our brains and our children's brains. So I'm adamantly opposed to this type of technology being used. There's just no way to protect ourselves from it. It'll plummet our property values. No one will be able to live in where they live because of headaches and cancers and things like that. And it would really decimate our lifestyle and our beautiful town. So I'm very much against that. And I think as environment and parks and water is another issue. Water is another issue that I'd like to be in charge of. The Water Bureau for years has been telling people to only have personal filters, point of use filtration, POF, point of use, POU, excuse me, point of use filtration. This is very important. The Water Bureau has requested that people do this, and I would be there to tell people that they need to filter their water as it comes out of the tap water. There's, those are important points, and those are the 3 areas where I'd like to oversee as commission.
Let's turn to another issue the City Commission addresses, which is the law enforcement. How would you address the local law enforcement issues of police, community relations, use of deadly force, and officer accountability?
Well, it's one I would team up with my other counselors and the mayor to find solutions for. It's really not my forte. I'm both on, I'm on the side of the police officers. I'm also on the side of the citizens who can be victimized by them. So I'm pretty much middle of the road where that goes, and I would rely on some of my other council members and mayor to help with policy on making things better for us here in Portland.
Last question. The city's park system faces serious financial challenges, even more so since the closures caused by the pandemic. What ideas do you have for securing the financial stability of our park system?
Well, I think the whole park system is kind of on the wrong foot. I think they use too many herbicides and they do too much weed control. I think people need to think more of meadows than they need to think of lush green fields. I think they need to make the parks more bee friendly, more wildflower friendly, and so I like to think of myself as basically two revolutions that I want to see the parks undergo, and that is the mason bee revolution. People don't really understand mason bees, but they're solitary bees that live in small colonies and can be raised kind of like pets. They don't sting either, so that's a good thing. But the other thing is we need more wildflowers, especially native wildflowers, to be growing instead of monotone grass cultures. So I believe that we can save a lot of money by stopping herbicides and creating more bee habitat, which will also helps the country as well too, because if we can basically make our city a bee sanctuary, we can help the agriculture, which is in if they lose that primary pollinator, they're going to need us, so we can help agriculture, help our city, and make our parks still nicer, even so.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Walter, for sharing your views.
Thank you.
This has been the Video Voters Guide. The primary election is Tuesday, May 19th, so be sure to inform yourself about the candidates and our single ballot measure, the gas tax, and exercise your right to vote. Thank you for watching.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Yeah.